So we are going to be moving from the ballroom, and we are going to be moving to this location here, this room here, which is going to be B. If we look at my little layout here. So we're going to room area B, and we're now going to reveal the cards and find out where we are. So this is going to be the second to last room. That's going to be the boss room. So we've got one more chance to build up our power pile. We get the King of Hearts. So our room. Back to the book, back to the rooms. Make sure we're still on camera. Yep, everything's good. Right, we have the King of Hearts for this room, King of Hearts. The library, a hushed maze of legends and wisdom. Okay, so I've written it here. Now we want to find out the curiosity, so back to the cards. And the curiosity is the Queen of Diamonds. Back to the books. Curiosities, level 3. The Queen of Diamonds. Unexplained laughter echoes in the room. What is the source of this amusement? Okay, I think I'm going to reveal the threat or horror because that could be the thing that's causing the laughter. So we go back to the cards to reveal the threat or horror. And we get... I'm still a little bit concerned that I've only got one card in peril. But at least I hope you guys are enjoying this story. Right, we have the King of Clubs. Now, it is clubs, so it is a threat, not a horror. It's sort of an environmental problem. What is it? The King of Clubs. Make sure this is on camera and you guys can see. There you go. Right, King of Clubs. The quake. The ground shakes and walls tremor as if struck by an earthquake. Okay, so the boss isn't happy that I found the acorn. He's not happy that I'm very close. He can feel it. He can feel the blessed acorn coming close, and he's not happy about it. Okay, but we've still got to overcome a challenge here. Now, because this is level 3, we've got to overcome 3 action rolls in order to sort of pass through. So this could be quite a dangerous quake with things flying everywhere, very violent movements. I'm thinking that I may actually take, I say take damage, but there may be some narrative effects to that effect. Right, let me just write this down. Right, I've written that down. Now, again, if this was on the first floor or second floor, there is a possibility of getting a secret room because we've got 2 cards that are same. But level 3, we don't get secret rooms. Right, so we're being hit by an earthquake in this room. Now, this is actually the library, so there's probably going to be loads of books flying around and falling off the bookshelves. And I'm thinking that this, because it's quite a large sort of manor house, maybe they have a very large library in terms of shelves up to the ceiling, and you have those ladders that move along the tracks. So this is definitely going to be not the safest place to be, but we have to get through. We have to pass through to that final room and uncover the boss. Maybe this is being created by the boss because, like I say, maybe I've got that blessed or the blessed acorn in my possession and he's not happy about it coming closer. Maybe his motivation was to keep it hidden or to maybe destroy it, but he definitely doesn't like it. Now, I need at least 3 positive outcomes because this is level 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to be rolling the same thing every time. It's just going to be a question of how many successes how many failures I get before I get 3 successes. And that's going to determine whether the card goes into power or peril. But essentially, it's going to be trying to avoid falling objects and flying objects, but at the same time trying to keep my balance. So this is, like I say, success, this is failure. Because again, this video is going to be a little bit long if I don't speed things up. So I'm going to keep this challenge fairly simple. It's just going to be a case of trying to get 3 successes and seeing how many times we fail before we do that, right? So we need at least 3 successes. So first time trying to avoid everything, it's a tie. Now, when you roll ties on an action roll, there are very specific results. So a 4-4 is there is a cost, a tough choice or a complication. So maybe I managed to keep my balance, that maybe I cut my hand on maybe one of the bookshelves has got like a large splinter from something falling on it, and I cut my hand open. So maybe with the boss encounter, if I have to do anything sort of with manual dexterity, maybe I'll have a negative. But I'm thinking that this also counts as a negative, so I'm going to keep track. So that's one negative result. It's not a success, okay? So second time, okay, so second time we get a success. So there you go. So we have one. We managed to keep our footing. My hand has got a bad cut on it, and I'm also trying to stem the blood flow at the same time. Next, we get another failure. So now we get another failure. So maybe I stumble over and whack my head on the side of another bookcase. This is not looking good. Then we get oh no, my goodness. Okay, so we get a third failure. So maybe the cut in my hand. It's actually getting worse. Maybe it's down to the muscle. Maybe there's the potential ligament damage, which could really hinder my ability to use it. Come on, I need at least 3 successes. Another tie. Oh no! 5-5. The scene is suddenly interrupted. Oh no! The scene is suddenly interrupted by what? What is it interrupted by? Should I draw a black card from the unused cards? The scene is suddenly interrupted. I'm thinking, because again, it's not a success, so it counts as a failure. I'm definitely getting peril cards after this. I'm thinking that maybe I will reveal one of the unused black cards, and that interrupts or happens upon the scene as well. So let's go back to the grid. So I'm going to use one of the unused cards here from the black deck to see what interrupts. Maybe it's another environmental issue. Maybe it's a horror. We get the King of Spades. That's a horror. So something physical or something like a ghost or something interrupts us. But what is it? Okay, I'm going to leave these here for the moment. Right, King of Spades. The Mistwing, a gargantuan mist creature in the shape of a giant predatory bird, bursts onto the scene and it's trying to fly between the bookcases, trying to avoid these books. And it's this terrifying mist creature, this demon bird. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, so that's not making this challenge any harder. So we've got to fend off. Oh my God, I still need two more successes. So now I need to fend off this bird, which is going to be, I think, the next test. Then after that, again, trying to escape from the books. If I can get 2 successes, that is. Oh no, okay, so trying to fend off the Mistwing. No! Oh dear, maybe the Mistwing hit. Okay, this is fine. This is definitely going in the peril pile. So we fail, and maybe the bird grabs us and tries to lift us off the ground. And as we start lifting off the ground, I'm going to try and fight back and try to get out of its claws. Yay! We managed to get out of its claws, and I'm now going to try to run for the door, trying to avoid the books, trying to keep my feet, and trying to avoid this gargantuan demon bird. No! We stumble as we get close to the door. Oh my God, look at this. We stumble as we get close to the door. That's 6 failures, only 2 successes. And I'm going to try and get up quickly as the bird comes close. And we get another tie. What does this one mean? A third unexpected option comes to pass. So I'm trying to get on my feet, trying to run for the door. That counts as another failure. Oh my word. Maybe a bookcase falls over and partially blocks the door, which is going to make it harder to get out. That could work. It's a failure. So we're going to try and push aside the bookcase and try and get out. And we do with our 3rd success. Okay, so finally, grappling with this bookcase, I managed to pull it just enough so I can slide through the door and pull the door closed. And the gap is too small for the bird, this Mistwing, to actually get through and harm me. My goodness, that was bad. Look, 3 successes. I've got 7 failures. Now I'm thinking, let's go back to the grid. Now I'm thinking I'm going to put more than just 1 card in peril. The game does say that if you do really badly, you can add extra black cards from the unused cards up to the number of the level to reflect really bad performances. And that was a really bad performance. So we're going to take the black card from the room. We're going to put it down on the peril pile. I'm also going to put the card, which was that interrupting creature, the horror, the Mistwing. I'm going to put that on the peril pile. And I think I'm going to put another one because we can put a maximum of 3 for a level 3 F up, screw up. I'm going to put that on the peril pile as well because that was a really bad, that was a really bad result. So what do we have now? In power pile, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In peril, I think we've got 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, I mean, the odds are still in my favor for the boss fight because you've got to reduce the piles to get the final result. If you reduce the peril pile to 0, you beat the boss. If you reduce the power pile first, then the boss wins. And these are reduced by doing action rolls, yeah? So having a lot of cards in power is always a good thing. But that was really bad. So my peril pile has definitely grown since then. So I've just put here, managed to evade the Mistwing and the Quake effects, but to what cost? 7 failed rolls. So yeah, I've put 3 cards in peril because of that. Right, we are now done in that room. We've managed to evade all the stuff, managed to get out. We are now at the final room, which is going to be the boss room. And we are going to move on to that now. Right, we are at the final room in the Sunstone Manor. We're coming up to meet the boss or the main creature, enemy that is going to be involved with this haunting or this sort of paranormal activity. And the way this is going to work is a little bit different. We're going to reveal the cards as before. The first card is going to be the room, same as normal, level 3. The second card is going to be the curiosity, again, same as before, level 3. But the third card, the black card, is not going to be a normal threat or horror. It's going to be the boss. And we've got a special table for that. So for the final room, we have the Queen of Hearts. Right, level 3 rooms. It is the Queen of Hearts. The trophy room. Okay, kind of makes sense. The proud display of victories tinged with remorse. Okay, next up we're going to have the curiosities. So we're in the trophy room and the curiosity is the Jack of Diamonds. Right, curiosities, level 3, Jack of Diamonds. Doors open unaided, revealing unknown compartments. What is concealed there? Well, I mean, it could be more trophies, but secret trophies, things that they're not proud of. Wooden spoons and the like. I mean, it could also maybe be a place where rituals were done before, where I mean, we had a meeting room downstairs. Maybe the person who owned this manor was not averse to making deals with devils and demons in order to sort of help their business practice. And maybe these unknown compartments are sort of filled with ritual knickknacks, you know, sort of containers of various parts of animals and candles, black candles, and maybe things like that. And maybe this is why the boss, the creature, has made this its lair, yeah, where it's living or staying at the moment. Okay, now we get to reveal the boss. And the boss has its own set of results. Here we go, bosses. So what are we going to find as our boss in the Sunstone Manor? And the boss is the Jack of Spades. Right, for our boss, we get the Jack of Spades, Vault, the clockwork construct, an animated clockwork marvel armed with an array of gears, pistons, and electrifying defenses. Not exactly what I was expecting, but let's see how we can work this into the story. So maybe Maybe this is like some kind of possessed mechanism, some kind of possessed machine. And maybe they have a severe adversity to water. And that's why it's trying to corrupt and pollute the water, because it has this innate hatred of water, because it's, where is it? Over here. It's electrical in nature, yeah, volt, the clockwork construct. So maybe it has this issue with water, and it's thus trying to do whatever it can to either corrupt, to pollute, and to maybe stop the flow of water. Actually, hang on, wasn't there a gate? So maybe this construct, maybe this creature, Volt, is also responsible for maybe gating or stopping the water as well. And maybe this pollution or this sort of paranormal effect is not necessarily what it had in mind, but it's kind of an off effect or a side effect of him actually trying to stop the water flow because it's a danger to him, it's a threat to him. I mean, I've got to be honest, it's not really the boss that I was hoping for. There's a bunch of others that would kind of fit the story a lot better, but I'm thinking that Volt, electrical, doesn't like the presence of water, so he's doing what he can to kind of stop the water, destroy the water, damage the water, so that, you know, it can continue. Right, okay, I think that will do, but we are now going to do the boss fight, and that will go back to the grid. Right, we're going to take on the boss, and to do that, we're going to be doing a number of action rolls, and it's a very simple sequence. You're basically going to be making the action rolls, and then depending on whether you succeed or you fail, you're going to get rid of a card. So if, for example, the 4 is higher, or sorry, the white die is higher, I can remove one of the peril cards. If the black die is higher, then I remove one of my power cards. And if one of these decks runs out, then that brings along the result. If the peril deck runs out first, we defeat the creature. If the power deck runs out first, then the creature defeats me. Maybe he possesses me, or maybe I become a slave to him, or something like that, or it just kills me. Another thing is that when you get rid of one of these cards after rolling the dice, you can actually look back at the, because they're all going to be black cards, right? So you look back at the threat or the horror tables in the book, and it actually has some keywords there. Let's have a quick look. Just move this out of the way for the moment. So if we go to the, okay, so for example, like here, the horrors, you'll notice that for each entry, there are these keywords. And what you can do is when you reveal a power card or peril card as you're fighting the boss, you can actually use these keywords for that card that you're removing to kind of help you to narrate what happens with that action. Back to the grid. Right, let's get this boss fight underway. So we're up against this clockwork monstrosity who has gears, pistons, electrifying defenses, armed with lots of blades and pieces of metal. And I've got some red sap. Now, could that work? Could the red, okay, because I collected some of the red sap. Could that actually work against him? Maybe to gum up or to sort of interfere with the gearing systems? Act like some kind of glue, maybe? I don't think so. Maybe. Okay, let's just carry on. So we are going to, first of all, we're going to say that as we enter the room, this trophy room, we look around, we see a lot of hidden compartments suddenly open, and inside are all these kind of ritual tools and components and consumables and things like candles and animal parts. And then we notice at the back of the room this huge clockwork monstrosity, this clockwork golem, and he's charging towards me, sparking electricity. So I think the first thing I need to do is maybe to try and avoid him. And I think what I'm going to do first is try to translate into the spectral, or the, is it the spectral? What's my ability? Spiritual realm. So I'm going to try to translate into the spiritual realm so that he goes through me, and then I can kind of appear on the opposite side of him. So does that work? Isotony. A third unexpected option comes to pass. Let me think. Okay, so maybe again, I'm thinking about the red sap that I spoke about earlier. As I translate into the spiritual realm and Volt, the clockwork creature, comes and goes through me, maybe the red sap in my in that glass bottle, maybe that kind of stays with the construct as it goes through. So I lose that from my inventory. I think that's going to be how it works. So I'm going to cross that off. Still got the glass bottle, but I don't have the tree sap. And maybe the tree sap again kind of hinders a section of his gearing, sort of restricting the movement and sort of stopping the gears from actually rotating as they should do. So I'm going to treat this as a success in that way because it kind of fits the story. So I am going to remove a peril card, and I've already done the description, haven't I? But it was the Jack of Clubs. So decay, trust, edge, survival, alert. So yeah, maybe the tree sap actually decays part, doesn't necessarily act like a glue, but maybe it acts like a kind of acid, and it actually decays and melts some of the boss creature's inner workings. So we got rid of one peril card. Next, okay, so am I still in the spiritual realm? Maybe as I pass through the creature, it interferes with my ability, and as I come out the other side, I'm forced to translate back to the physical world. So now what I want to do, maybe now I want to just attack the back of it. Maybe I have a weapon and I want to attack the back, hopefully trying to find a weak spot, maybe a joint or something. Another tie. Come on. What do we got? The scene is suddenly interrupted. Oh no. Oh no, come on. Now does that when I did that before I added to peril. Maybe this time it's just for flavor. So we're going to reveal one of the unused black cards. So this is just for narrative. I'm going to be up against possibly another environment effect or maybe another enemy. Ace of Spades! Ace of Spades! Right, so we've got the Ace of Spades. What's that? Ace of Spades is the Draconis, an enormous phantom dragon that uncoils from the manor's tower. Oh no. Oh dear. So maybe this spectral dragon, phantom dragon, uncoils and actually comes through the walls and through the ceiling and actually lands on top of the clockwork creature, the Volt, and actually becomes one with it. So now Volt becomes this clockwork dragon thing, rather than some kind of humanoid shape that I imagined him to be to begin with, some like standard sort of golem shape. But now the dragon, the Draconis, basically comes along, comes through the ceiling, roar, and basically lands and is absorbed within Volt, and Volt morphs into this clockwork dragon, making him more dangerous. So I'm thinking that for that one, I don't think I'm going to take a card from either deck. But we have Ace of Spades. So I'm not going to reduce any cards from that because nothing essentially happened. We just changed the story. So now he's become a draconic-shaped clockwork creature. Right. Oh, we're getting thunder here. Thunder and rain kind of fits the setting of the game. Right. We carry on. I'm going to try and attack again. We succeed. So I managed to strike him as he's transforming into this new shape, this new body. I managed to actually strike him during the process, and we do reveal King of Spades. Shroud, drift, claw, tear, and dive. So yeah, maybe I tear a section of the wing, or what would have been the wing, off as he's in the middle of transforming. So we get rid of another peril card. What's next? Okay, maybe he attacks me and I need to avoid. Maybe he tries to bite me with his fangs. Another draw. What the hell? 3-3. What's 3-3? The environment or circumstances are altered. Now, I'm thinking that I'll take I'll take these cards until I find a club, because clubs kind of give us environmental issues. So let's see, the first one, that's a club. Okay, Ace of Clubs. Now, this is not going to be in terms of adding to peril. It's just changing the narrative. So the Ace of Clubs is the illusion. Disturbing visions cloud reality. Tapping into inner fears. So that's the change of the environment. That's what's changing in the world around me. So I'm thinking that as he tries to bite me, I do evade, but the room changes. Maybe he has some kind of control over the environment, and the room changes so that it becomes very cloudy, filled with horrifying visions, terrors that worst nightmares kind of thing. So again, I'm not going to be taking any cards for this one. Right, we're going to try and hit back. We succeed, a 4-1. So what do we get? A King of Clubs, Rumble, Unstable, Price, Resettle, and Core. So maybe I managed to strike through the outer plates, this clockwork golem dragon thing. I managed to get my weapon inside the plates, and I actually managed to hit part of its interior, maybe something important. And he shrieks as I do damage to something to his core. So that's another card gone. Okay. There's one peril card left. I need to try and get to kill him. So I'm going to try and attack once more now that he's on the back foot. I don't believe it. It's another 3-3. Environment or circumstances are altered. So the environment's going to change again as a result maybe of me doing this damage to him. Again, I'm going to do the cards, see if there's a club. Yes, it's a club. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Clubs. Oh, the thunder's really picking up now. Right, Queen of Clubs, the Guardians. Statues or decorations shift position, blocking pathways with demands. Okay, so the environment changed into sort of this nightmare, illusion, visions, and clouding reality. And maybe now that kind of nightmare is kind of sort of cementing itself in terms of horrific statues that are coming out to block me and trying to cause me harm. Okay, but again, I don't think I'm going to take any cards for that. Right, so I'm going to recoil as the statues make their presence known. I'm going to try and avoid and maybe counter-attack the dragon creature. What is it with all the bloomin' drawers? 5-5. The scene is suddenly interrupted again. Well, I think there's only one card left. Is it? Yep. Okay. We have the Queen of Spades. The Queen of Spades is the Tree Warden, a colossal, twisted tree spirit with faces in its bark capable of animated wood. Or maybe the oak tree outside comes smashing through the wall to... Well, I mean, I'm thinking that it would actually be to try and help me, wouldn't it? I'm thinking, because it doesn't. The scene is suddenly interrupted. It doesn't say that it's interrupted against me. It could be for me as well. So, okay, Queen of Spades goes. So yeah, maybe the large oak outside where I got the red sap, where the red sap obviously has been poisoned, maybe the tree or parts of the tree, the branches come smashing through the wall and the windows, and it actually comes to help me, and it grabs the clockwork construct. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the last peril for this, because I think it suits the story. 6 of Spades, Enigma, Hang, Belief, Lies, Conceal. Hang. Oh, okay. So maybe the tree branches come in and grab Volt, this boss, this clockwork construct that looks like a dragon now. It grabs it in its branches, lifts it up, and constricts and cracks and crushes it. And then all that's left are these pieces of maybe brass or copper hanging from the now dormant branches of the oak tree. And you see this like black mist, which must have been the spirit's essence, rise into the night sky from those parts. Rebel, I'm sorry. And the tree is now dormant, It's destroyed the boss. We've destroyed the boss because that is the last peril card. And I'm thinking that that makes a nice conclusion to the story, where the tree, which was the source of the haunting in terms of why we got invited when I generated the random generation, and it's now here at the end to help me get rid of the haunting right at the end. And maybe now it no longer has that corrupted red sap, but I think we still have to go to maybe the source of the river, or further up the flow of the river or the stream, to introduce that acorn, that blessed acorn, in order to get rid of the corruption completely. And that, my friends, is the end of the story. The end. Wow. I love the way that some of these things link together. I think early on in the first level, there wasn't really much kind of meshing together. By the time we got to level 3, I really think that certain elements kind of meshed really well together to create a good story, I think. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. And even though this is a game, it's a role-playing game, it's a story creation game, it's a narrative journaling game, I think that you could definitely use this to create a framework for a horror novel or a horror story. But yes, all the links will be down in the description below where you can find this game. Also, the artist's Patreon, Kim Holm, because we want to try and support artists. I do use AI software to generate things for my thumbnails sometimes, because I'm not earning money from YouTube. I'm earning pittance from YouTube. I'm not rich. I can't afford to pay artists, obviously. But I do want to help real artists as much as I can at the same time, So Kim Holm, go to the Patreon, show some love, because the artwork in this game is really, really effective. Now, so this is WRAITHOUND. I will be featuring, I think, at least another one sort of paranormal investigation game on the channel this month. So look out for that. But until the next video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Notifications, bell, comments. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.